back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, and on Venmo at TSIO Pod. It is time for the SEC tournament. I'm ready. Jared, how about you?
I would have felt a lot more confident winning the last two games that Auburn played. Um, they didn't, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Um, what what
I
what
am
I
excited about the tournament to answer your question.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean it should be exciting. We're
Yeah,
gonna get into that a little bit. It's it's been a interesting end to the season, especially for both of our teams.
I agree.
So we'll kind of look at what happened this last week. We're going to look at seeding for the SEC tournament and who's in, who's out, and who's on the bubble as far as March Madness. So we'll start with Alabama going 1-1 this week. Um, that kind of shocking, if you ask me. They they are a 3 seed in the SEC tournament and a lock. Um, I guess looking like a 2, maybe a 3 seed. More likely a 2 after their last regular season game. Um, but Alabama's, I don't, I guess they're trending in the right direction. They lost to Tennessee barely at the last second, and then beat Auburn at the last second. Two really good teams here towards the end of the season.
But they did lose to Florida. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, an exceptionally good Florida team.
honestly, we'll get to Florida, but I think Alabama is a good team. There's no way to say they're not. Um, I mean, Tennessee got a prayer, a miracle, and they won, and they should have won. Auburn should have won as well. We had a shot at the end of the last regular, the last the second period, and Janai Broom had a shot and he missed it. So we had a shot to win.
Yeah.
We a ton of free throws, but yeah, Alabama's a good team, and they're going to do well in the tournament, most likely. SEC tournament, I don't see them necessarily winning that, and I don't know that they need to or that it really matters because they're going to get a decent seed, probably a very high seed in the tournament, and
Yeah.
they'll be around. It's going to take a good team to beat them. So
Yeah. They've got a lot of offense.
it,
And
yeah.
that's what Tennessee was able to do is shut down that offense. Um, and
Well, they almost did.
I believe had one of their lowest first halves this season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee almost didn't win that game though.
Yeah.
So they did win, and I'm thankful they won, but it was a good game. So
Yeah.
yeah, Alabama's good.
Yeah. Um, Arkansas went 2-0. They are a bubble team and they really helped their chances
They
this week.
did big
They
time.
they are a number 9 seed in the SEC tournament going up against South Carolina. Um, and
Which did beat Arkansas, not
yeah,
terribly ago. Yeah, so that's not a gimme, but it should be.
yeah. Arkansas is one of the teams that needs a a strong showing in the SEC tournament to hang on to a spot in March Madness. Um,
I don't know how strong of a showing that is, but I would imagine they could probably win their first game. After that, it's a toss up.
yeah.
So
Um, yeah, I think win a game or two. Uh, you definitely don't want to lose to South Carolina in the first round if you're Arkansas.
yeah, I
Uh,
hate to see them not make the tournament. I do think they deserve to be in the tournament
yeah,
personally.
me too. Especially the way they played here lately. Um, Auburn 0-2 this week. Really shocking. I
Yeah.
mean,
Very, very characteristic of them. So
yeah. Last week I know you were nervous about the game against Alabama, um, but I thought it worse 1-1 this week. So I was very, very surprised. Um, there's still a lot for the big dance and
yeah.
number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. But
All right. So very quickly, I have two. schools of thought. One is, okay, nobody got hurt this week. So despite the two losses, we could afford two losses. I'm never saying that's a good thing, but
Right.
Auburn had won enough to afford, if they had to lose two, that was the two they could afford to lose. Even though they were quality quad victory, would have been quality quad victories against A&M and Alabama. But Auburn, while they did get beat the last two games, they didn't just bow over. I think they still had some fight in them, but there was a couple things. They missed Denver Jones in the game against Texas A&M. Chad Baker Mazar got a flagrant two, and he got kicked out of the game, rightfully so. We needed him, but we only lost by two in overtime. So I'm not too worried. I think Auburn can turn it on when they need to,
Yeah.
but they have to take it seriously now. It's do or die, and it would be real easy to just not be all in on the SEC tournament because they've already won the SEC regular season. I hope they don't take that approach. I really do. But Florida, as you pointed out, I think they're the team to beat, to be honest, because they're really
Yeah.
good. And it just seems like they've got everybody's number right now. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I'm not saying Auburn is not going to win the SEC tournament. But if they didn't win, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But it would make me more concerned going into the NCAA tournament if they don't.
Yeah.
So
In the way that the SEC tournament is set up, the top four teams, which is Auburn, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee, they get double buys. So they don't play in the first two rounds, which um is good because basically they'll all be playing
well, they've
late uh
yeah
late in the
they've
week.
earned that possibility to
Yeah.
get that rest and to have that spot. And they didn't get that for free. They had to earn that. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I think those four teams play Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there. Um,
Man, that's
maybe
gonna be some
Wednesday.
fun. That's gonna be some fun TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yep.
But you don't have to win a whole lot of games to win the
No.
SEC, but it's going to be challenging. Um,
What is it? Two? You only if you're in that top seed, you only if you get the double
so,
bye, you only have to do two, right?
um,
I think it's two.
so one, two, they'd have to win three, I
Three?
think, because
Oh,
it goes
maybe it
from
is three.
8 to 4 to 2. Um, and
And that game is in your hometown of Nashville, Tennessee.
it is, yeah, right down the road. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I think whoever makes it to play one of those four is going to have a really tough challenge, because those four teams have really separated themselves from the rest of the pack in the SEC and the country. Um,
Yeah, I think all four of those schools realize the seriousness of where they're at the moment, and so it'd be very surprising to me if all four of those teams or any of those four mail it in. I don't think they will. I think they're going to show up ready to play.
yeah,
So
yeah, and the number two seed Florida 2-0 this week, um,
unbelievable. Yeah,
looking like they are ready to play, which
they
is
could potentially
very
win it
surprising.
all. They
Yeah.
are don't sleep on Florida.
No, they
So
they are playing really, really well. Uh,
well,
they had a
they
couple.
crushed Ole Miss. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, they whooped them. So
They
and they
they are
beat
a lock for the
Alabama just
tournament.
for that. So yeah, they're on fire.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, they're good.
what's surprising, Georgia went 2-0 this week. Um, they are
I'm
likely
wondering.
in the tournament, and they're an 11 seed in the SEC tournament going up against Oklahoma. Um,
Hmm.
which I think Georgia should win, and um, I think Oklahoma needs to win more. Um, just
Yeah,
just for
I
tournament
don't.
chances. But
I'm not
um,
sure Oklahoma. Even if I mean, I think Oklahoma would literally have to win the tournament, SEC tournament, to get in. I'm not sure they'll get in.
yeah,
So maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, I mean they've kind of been uh
yeah, they had a rough year.
yeah,
So
yeah, they're 14th in the SEC. Um,
yeah,
but
I
We'll see.
don't like their chances. Yeah, I wish them well, but I don't like their chances. And Georgia seems to be locked and loaded to at least get that game. So
Yeah. Um, the Wildcats went 2-0. They're a 7 seed and get one bye in the tournament. Um, so the first four teams get double buys. The next four teams get buys. Then the other eight teams um, play the
got to
first round.
battle it out.
And
Yeah.
Kentucky's in March Madness um, in the tournament. So
We'll
I
be
mean,
in.
I don't know what your philosophy is going into these conference tournaments if you have a buy or a double buy because I mean I kind of feel like all you're trying to do is just keep a little momentum going. Um, stay
Yeah.
loose because this unless you're a bubble team, the conference tournament is kind of moot.
Yeah. I agree with that. Unfortunately, these are professionals and they're competitive. So, from that aspect, I think they're going to play their best. But at the same time, you're right. If you're the coach and hey man, I want to win and get past the first few rounds of the SEC, the NCAA tournament versus play these really massive teams in the SEC tournament like they just
Yeah.
got through the regular season and that's a tough call. Of course, everybody's competitors, so I don't think anybody's just gonna just not show up. But
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it
nobody's gonna lay over.
because you don't want somebody to get hurt or you don't want something dumb to happen and then it potentially have an impact on the way you play in the NCAA tournament. So it's kind of a catch 22.
Yeah.
Um,
And I realize I said layover. I meant lay down or roll over. I'm not sure.
so Auburn won the SEC tournament last year,
Yeah.
but then they got eliminated first round in
And
the NCAA tournament, or other schools like Bama made it to the Final Four. So it was
yeah.
like, was it worth winning the SEC tournament to lose first round in the NCAA tournament? You have a lot of fans that say no.
And yeah, and
They would have rather
that's
seen
the
them
thing.
progress in
Yeah.
this NCAA tournament. So, although it's nice that we won the SEC tournament, but you lost first round in the NCAA tournament. So, I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
tough call.
I mean, it's pretty exhausting going through these tournaments where you're playing day in, day out.
These are tough teams. This is the toughest
Yeah.
conference in the country. So,
Yeah. Um, it's not too tough if you're playing LSU though. LSU 0 and
LSU's
2.
women's team could
Yeah.
potentially beat the men's team, maybe.
Yeah. LSU is like Tennessee back in the day when the women's team um
Yep.
was those games were better attended than the men's games.
Yeah.
Um, they went 0 and 2 this week. They're 15 seed playing Mississippi State. They are out of the tournament, so you're really just playing for pride here. Um, and
If you win the tournament, you get into if you win the SEC tournament, you get in the tournament.
yeah, that's true. I mean,
So
uh, that
so
you can try.
you are playing to make the tournament if you can win.
Yeah, I think basically, yeah, I think it's a long shot for LSU
No,
or
LSU has no prayer, but I'm telling you,
or
if for some
South
reason,
Carolina.
yeah, if for some reason they could, they would deserve to be in, and they would.
Yeah. Um, so we'll see with the Bayou Bengals.
But none of us are predicting that. Let the
No.
record be
Um,
clear. Yeah,
I mean they've got a tall task against Mississippi State. Ole Miss went 1-1.
Mississippi State is going to win that game.
Yeah.
So,
Ole Miss went 1-1, beating Tennessee, which
yeah,
was really surprising because Tennessee was up late
yeah.
and
I was frustrated for Tennessee in that game, but
just let Ole Miss hang around. And
in
that's
fairness, Ole Miss is a NCAA tournament team. They're going to be there and they're going
yep.
to compete. And you know, just because you beat them one time doesn't mean you're going to beat them every time. They can beat you. So that's why the SEC is ruthless. So
Yeah. Um,
no,
that their fellow Mississippi school, Mississippi State, went 0 and 2 this week.
yeah.
Um,
So
which
watch out for them because they got everything to play for now.
Yeah, and they start against LSU, um,
Totally win.
and
Very win.
you
Yeah.
know get a win and just start rolling and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. You know, yeah, just make it happen.
Yeah, in some ways, getting playing right off the bat, there's a little bit of urgency there. Um,
Yeah.
Missouri needs a little bit of urgency as well. They went 0-2 this week. They
Yeah,
do get a
that's
bye.
surprising. I did not think they would go 0 and 2.
Me either. They do
I
get a
think they're fine.
bye as an 8 seed, and they're still going to the tournament. But I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
kind
how
of
much Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, or Florida can affect their seed. Um, I think, I mean, Auburn and Florida are going to be one seeds, I think, no matter what. Tennessee and Alabama, I think if one of them wins the tournament, they could get a one seed. Um, but I'm not sure based on how they've played here the last couple games. Alabama did beat Auburn, so that's a good quad one win. But um, I don't know if it's enough to uh, I don't know if they move the needle enough for the
no.
selection committee.
Outside of them winning the SEC tournament, I don't think they could get a number one seed. Not that I don't think they're good enough to have it. I just don't think because they had some pretty tough losses right before that Auburn game. So
Yeah,
my thought is probably not. But if
yeah,
they win the SEC tournament, then sure. But I don't
yeah.
think likely. But it could happen.
I mean, and we were talking last week that the Tennessee Alabama game was playing for a one seed, and at the current moment, I don't think either one of them is going to have a one seed. Uh,
Well, that just shows you the difference a week can make. How
yeah,
funny. Yeah.
both teams losing and moving things around. Um, Oklahoma had a good week, 2-0, but they're they're number 14 in the seeding and going up
But they
against
did they
UGA.
did beat Texas. They beat Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Um,
Oklahoma. That might have saved the season.
yeah.
So
They have a good chance of getting in the tournament, which is crazy. According to one article on ESPN.
yeah, let's see. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think they have to have a a good run, win a couple games in the
I
tournament.
feel like there's going to be some really good schools out there that if they got left out because of Oklahoma, that would not seem fair. But
Absolutely. Uh, South Carolina, no question, they are out. They went 0-2 this week. They are the
yeah,
16 seed going up against Arkansas. Um, yeah.
they had
Uh,
moments this season where they had uh, glimpses of possibility, but this was a hard year for them, and I don't think that dictates the future of South Carolina men's basketball. But this was not their year,
yeah.
so.
No, not at all. Tennessee went 1-1. Um,
Yeah,
surprising.
look out for Rick Barnes. He's seasoned. He knows how to get his team ready for these things. So
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens in the tournament because I want to see the top four teams that have double buys get wins. If you don't win with a double buy, um, it, it's going to be tough. I mean, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Um, just
I
because
mean,
you've worked
yeah,
so hard this season, you get rewarded for it, and then to lose,
yeah. I mean,
uh, I don't think none of those teams even have to win the whole thing. But
yeah, it's
it
definitely not the right way to go into the NCAA tournament, but
no,
it's inevitable. It's probably going to happen. We're likely to see at least one team fall.
yeah,
I don't know which one it will be. I hope it ain't Auburn.
yeah.
So
Um, Texas went 1-1 this week. They are a 13 seed going up against Vanderbilt. Um, and
that ought to be a
ESPN,
good game.
yeah, ESPN has them as bubble team.
Yeah,
I'm
Texas playing to win. I mean, they got everything to win. So if Vanderbilt's not taking them seriously, they could lose. So
Yeah. I
that'd be a good game, actually.
and I want to see Vanderbilt play well. They don't have to travel
Yeah,
um because it's literally down the street
it's their
from
backyard, right?
Memorial Gymnasium.
No
Um,
excuses for Vandy. They should show up and do well.
no excuses. Texas
But
A&M.
Texas is not going to sleep on them. I guarantee you.
No. Texas A&M, it has rebounded nicely. They had a skid and
They have a
it
bad
hurt
skid.
them as far as seeding goes um for the big tournament. But they're a 5 seed. They're locked in. Um
Yeah.
and then Vanderbilt, I
Yep.
really did expect a better showing here at the end of the season for them, going 0-2 this week, and they're the
Can I
12 seed.
can I back up just for a second? I want to say
Yeah.
something about Texas A&M because I watched Texas A&M play Auburn, and they just totally out rebounded Auburn.
That
Um,
that's
they they kicked their fanny when it comes to rebounds. So if you get a Texas A&M team that is just dominating the boards, look out, man, because they will compete and possibly beat you. They if they can play the rebound game the way they did against Auburn, they're definitely going to be a good team coming into both these tournaments. So,
yeah, and I mean A&M's a good rebounding team, and that's what kept them.
well, that's what crushed Auburn. They spanked Auburn in rebounds. It wasn't even
Yeah.
funny. So,
So it looks like if this bracket is correct, um, uh, first round is Wednesday, second round's Thursday, quarterfinals. So if you get a double bye, you're playing Friday. The tournament
so
concludes on Sunday.
you and I'll be more actively attentive on Friday.
Oh yeah. Um,
We won't care on Wednesday or Thursday because we will, but it will be more fun for us starting Friday. So,
yeah. Uh, Auburn as the 1 seed, their side of the bracket. Arkansas, South Carolina. Um, and because I don't think they reseed each round. Um, so winner of Arkansas, South Carolina plays Missouri. Um, let's say that's Missouri, Arkansas. Auburn will play the winner of Missouri, Arkansas, which I think is a very good matchup for Auburn there. Um,
but remember, Missouri, when they get hot, they beat Alabama. So
yeah,
they are not a bad team.
not at
They may have had a bad week, but Auburn had a
yeah,
bad week. So
yeah. Um, then you've got Vanderbilt, Texas, and
I think that's going to be the best first round game.
absolutely that's going to be a good game. Winner takes on A&M, and so
Wow, what
uh,
if you get Texas and Texas A&M? That'd be fun.
that would be fun. Uh,
Nice player.
I I don't know if anybody gets past A&M there.
Probably.
I think A&M beats Vanderbilt. I think A&M beats Texas, and you've got a rematch of Tennessee, Texas A&M,
And
which
Tennessee, that'll be a strong, that'll be a tough game
it
for
will be.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
The Tennessee will be able to win that, but that will be if Tennessee's not ready, they better be ready.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah,
Georgia, Oklahoma. Georgia's on a roll right now. Oklahoma is too, but I mean, I think Georgia's a little bit stronger. Um, Winner there takes on Ole Miss. Um, I mean, I think I expect Ole Miss to beat both of those teams. Um, but crazier things have happened, and winner will take on Alabama. Um, Ole Miss,
okay.
Alabama. I think would be
Ole Miss got a win against Alabama this season, so but I'm not seeing that again. I think Alabama is ready to handle business. So
yeah. Um, again, that'd be fun to see. But this is basketball, and madness happens.
if the
LSU
shots
Miss
aren't falling, yep, it
yeah,
is what it is.
LSU Mississippi State. Um,
Mississippi
can,
State.
yeah, can LSU make a run? I don't know. Uh,
Nope.
even if they beat State, you take on Kentucky, and Kentucky in a tournament is just look out. Um,
I'm not picking anybody to beat Kentucky in that first round. So I think Kentucky would beat any of those schools.
yeah, and then winner there takes on Florida. Um,
Now
I,
that's where it gets interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so if I
Man, talk
had,
about an uphill battle. My gosh. What if Mississippi State beats LSU, somehow gets past Kentucky? Am I saying this right?
yeah, that's what I'm
So
thinking.
so so Mississippi State has to play Florida. Holy cow. And then if they somehow get past Florida, then they got the winner of what? Likely Alabama, Tennessee, or Auburn, Tennessee. So that's nasty.
You know,
Mississippi, they
I,
could be for a very long week.
yeah,
So
uh,
assuming they can win,
I think Florida's got the best chance to make it to the championship game.
yeah.
Um, and I think Tennessee has the best chance of those double buys to lose their one and only game. Um,
I don't want that to happen. I'm on the fence on that one. Texas A&M is very good. Assuming they play Texas A&M, um, yeah, that's one that could get sneaky. I'm still picking Tennessee though.
uh,
So
I've got some of that battered Vol syndrome.
yeah,
You know, just being nervous when there's any sort of tournament on the line. Um,
I
yeah,
I yeah,
I
I
kind of
think that skid that we saw at the end of the season with A&M, I think that wasn't just a fluke. I think there's some holes in the A&M team that will rear its ugly head in these tournaments. I think they can be a good team. I think they can play well and they can surprise people. I don't see them surprising Tennessee though.
yeah.
But like you
It's
said, stranger things have happened, but I think Tennessee will be ready for that game, assuming they play A&M. And I personally think Tennessee would win that.
yeah.
So
I sure hope so. I mean, it's a long season, and especially now with 16 teams, it's exhausting. I mean, it's just exhausting watching it,
yeah, I
much less
mean,
playing it.
just talking about the SEC tournament and then thinking, oh, now you got to go play the NCAA tournament in just a couple of days. That's pretty daunting, man. That is a lot to do. So
Yeah,
yeah, it makes me appreciate college basketball a lot more, to
yeah,
be honest. I mean, these guys
um,
are really getting tested over and over.
yeah,
Not that football doesn't, but man, this is not for the weak. So
yeah. And
if you win it, you deserve it. Like you seriously deserve it because it's
yeah,
almost impossible to do. So
and
yeah.
and um, I mean, because it's an entire uh region of the 64, 68 team or 70, whatever it is now, team bracket. Um, I, I don't know. I quit expanding it. It's not no
I don't pay
nobody's paying
attention.
attention to those extra
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, those extra games are, I don't know who they're trying to make happy doing that, but whatever. You
Um,
know,
and it doesn't make sense how they do it.
none of those teams are likely to go anywhere past that first game. So,
Right. Let them go play in the NIT
yeah,
and
if they're so good, go win the NIT.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
Well,
tournament
winning the
time,
NIT, there's no shame in winning the NIT. I think if you can win the
no,
NIT, go win it, you know?
I would rather win the NIT than be bounced either in the round of 64 or 32.
Dude,
Um,
you could easily see a team like Oklahoma maybe winning NIT. Why not, man? They've been struggling. They've had the tough conference games.
yeah,
They know how to play tough teams. Why not them? You know, if they don't make the tournament,
yeah,
maybe they win the NIT, you know?
yeah.
So
Oh,
I don't think I'd be surprised if an SEC school won the NIT
right. Yeah,
because it feels like they'd be the most prepared.
right. Because you're used to playing great teams.
You're playing
Uh,
great teams over and over for a couple months in a row, and now you're playing teams that are still good, but are they any better than what you've been playing? Probably not. So you could surprise some people and win,
yeah.
but
I
you
mean,
surprise us.
The SEC has 9 locks for the SEC tournament. Um,
That's a crazy number.
one, two, three likely teams and a couple of bubble teams. Here's what I want to see the SEC do well in the tournament
Yeah.
because if you've got 9 locks and five of them lose their first game,
Yeah, I mean, that's possible, but it seems like
it's
this would be
unlikely, but
that doesn't seem likely this year, but you're right. That could happen.
yeah,
So,
I'm so
yeah.
when it's tournament time as a Tennessee fan, uh I just I grit my teeth and I turn it over to baseball. I mean, I
You're not wrong. Yeah.
that's kind of what I had to do when uh about halftime of the Tennessee Ohio State game. I was like, I'm moving on to basketball. Um,
Well, every team that played Ohio State was ready to move on to basketball
yeah.
in that playoff. So, yeah.
Um, but speaking of Tennessee baseball, interestingly, Tennessee had two midweek games, one against Radford, one against Xavier. Um,
And what didn't they play St. Bonaventure?
yeah, over the weekend.
Mm.
And the game against Radford, um, into the fourth or fifth inning, Radford was either leading, tied, or keeping it very close. What's funny is Tennessee then in the seventh had a walk-off grand slam for a run rule, so things change quickly.
Not their first Grand Slam this season, mind you.
No, the total is up to 8, which is on track for a program record.
That must be a record.
Um, yeah, weekend series against Saint Bonaventure. The first game, um, the run rule was not in effect, which I believe means Saint Bonnie said, "No, we want to play all 9 innings." Um,
Okay. Well, be careful what you wish for.
yeah, they got exactly what they wished for, a beating. And the next two games only went to 7 innings. Tennessee went 5-0 um, over the last week. Eh, Tennessee's getting some good production from underclassmen. I know I've said this before, but as far as batting, you got a freshman, Manny Marin, who had a grand slam, hitting 414. Um, you got another freshman in Jay Abernathy, who's played in 15 games, 15 of the 16 games, started in 9, hitting 353. Um,
Holy cow.
you got another
Fresh.
freshman who has played in 11 games, hitting 417.
That's outstanding. Yeah.
Um, uh, you've got a redshirt freshman, Blake Grimmer, who has played in 10 games and hitting 429. Um, Stone Lawless, a redshirt freshman, hitting 417 in 10 games and 7 starts. Um, and this kid, Levi Clark, started 12 games, played in 15, hitting 513.
That's
Every time he
insane.
steps up to the plate, in a grand slam, um, every time he steps up to the plate, he's got a better than 1 in 2 chance of getting a hit. Um, I, I'm blown away.
This is the type of play you want going into SEC regular season conference play. They got Florida just in a couple of days here.
Yeah,
So yeah, love to see Tennessee taking care of business, ready to take on conference opponents. It's coming up.
yeah. They've gotten a lot of work um, from their pitching staff, which is what you want to do early in the season. Let a couple
Yeah,
guys get a couple innings.
yeah, get them in. Yep.
Let them play. Um, been really impressed. Um, uh, we got two guys who have 4 starts each. Um, they're the worst of the two has a 1.42 ERA, and their strikeout to walk ratio is fantastic. So I really like what I'm seeing um, on both on offense and defense from Tennessee. But the SEC, much like the SEC in basketball, in baseball, it is just
Yes,
stacked.
really
Um,
good teams. So
so yeah, starting this weekend with Florida, we're going to find out how Tennessee stacks up, and it should be a fun season.
it
Um,
will be. Yeah, guaranteed.
win or lose,
It's
because
already a
it's in
fun
soccer
season.
and there's no draw.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Yeah, but you're not going to see Florida say, "Oh, we're not going to play 9 innings."
No,
That's not likely. So
no. Yeah, I don't expect these run rules to continue once SEC play starts. And again, if you're not familiar with college baseball, um, you will play an SEC team in a series over the weekend, and then you'll have a midweek game against a non-conference opponent, um, which is, I believe, women's basketball is kind of like that. I kind of like it if it's if you can fit all your games in there. You got to start your conference play a little earlier. Um, but I don't hate it. Uh, I mean, it's football does it because they've got
yeah,
homecoming and stuff.
what's the mindset behind that, you think? What caused them to adopt that?
I think it's you want to play a series over the weekend. You don't want to play a series during the week, but you can squeeze a game in. And uh,
Is that where the baseball team throws a little money to the smaller schools or something? Or
I'm sure because Tennessee's done all sorts of things. Played uh, I know they play Belmont later in the season in a midweek game. Um,
well, that's great for Belmont to get that
yeah,
experience, but I don't think anybody really anticipates Belmont most likely winning. Maybe, but
no, it was either last year. I think it was last year. Um, it could have been the year before. Tennessee played Tennessee Tech, which is an hour and a half down the road.
what Crossville? Where they at? They're in
Uh,
what?
Cookville,
Cookville.
and Tech beat them. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's a rarity. That's not the norm.
yeah,
So
and that's baseball. It's like basketball. Um, it's to go undefeated is really rare and really hard to do. Um, just because there's so many factors to it. But I'm still riding high on this Tennessee baseball train and excited
rightfully
for
so. It's
SEC play starting this
starting
weekend.
off right. Yeah, that's a good time, man. We got the SEC basketball tournament, we got the NCAA tournament, and then we got baseball regular season conference play. So this is good stuff.
Yeah. So Jared, who's your pick to win the SEC tournament this week?
Well, I'm picking Florida, but I'd like it to be Auburn. So that's just my
I,
honest take. I really regret it, but I think Florida might be the hot hand right now. So
I agree. I think Florida is the best bet. I think um
mhm.
I, I would have to say uh I mean Bruce Pearl doesn't want to lose. Uh but is he thinking, hey, let's play well and let's play for the big tournament? And I'm kind of thinking, does is Alabama the one that that could kind of sneak up and win the tournament because they had a good game against Auburn? Do they just keep rolling off of that? I don't know, but I still think Florida's the team to
Yeah,
beat.
last season in the SEC tournament, Alabama lost early. And I remember that was just like, wow, ha, Alabama lost, but then they ended up going to the Final Four. So I almost wonder if Nate Oates is kind of like tapped into like the hidden way to do it,
Yeah,
Like, okay, let's not worry about this tournament. It's okay if we lose. Let's just, handle business in the tournament. So that's what he did last year. I don't know what will happen this year, but if Alabama did get a loss, I'd be curious to see. That's almost like, okay, they're probably going to go pretty far in the tournament now.
Yeah.
So I'm almost hoping they do well in the SEC tournament, maybe even win it.
Yeah.
So they don't do as well in the NCAA tournament, which sounds terrible. But
I
yeah,
know. I know. The curse of the tournament champion. Uh,
yeah,
well, it'll be exciting to watch no matter
it
what.
is. And I
And
will be watching. So will Bradley.
so I'll be cheering on my Vols. I know you'll be cheering on your Tigers.
And I'd love to see another Meshack last second shot, last
Yeah.
second winner.
Yeah.
So,
Another Meshack miracle. I'm here for it.
Meshack Miracle,
Well,
right for the name. Yeah,
yeah. Find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, and on Venmo at TSIO Pod. Uh, it's it's tournament time, and
it is.
we will have an SEC tournament champion next time we talk. So, Jared, as a reminder, heroes come in all sizes and roll Vols.
And War Eagle. And yeah, we will be talking about an SEC tournament winner here in a few days.
Tailgate, man cave, living